Conquer the Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot for Sunday, July the 5th, 2020. Hope all of my U.S. listeners had a safe and happy 4th of July. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content, which is still under construction. Be patient with me, guys. And head to prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirt needs. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's start the show off like we always do with our first segment, which is the match of the week. All right, so the match of the week this week comes from night one of the Great American Bash in NXT, and I am talking about the best wrestling match, just pure wrestling match I have seen in a very long time, and it was Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan. These two guys, Oney Lorcan, has been in NXT for a very long time, probably one of the best pure wrestlers that they have on the roster, and he's in there with Timothy Thatcher, probably the best catch wrestler in all of WWE right now. And these two guys just put on a clinic. If you have not seen this match, if you haven't watched the first night of the Great American Bash yet, go back and check it out. I always say with the match of the week, if you're only going to watch one wrestling match this week, make it this one. And this is no different. These two guys put on just a hell of a wrestling match. So make sure you go back and check out Timothy Thatcher versus Oney Lorcan from night one of the NXT Great American Bash. So let's keep things rolling right along into the next segment, which is my top 3 favorite highlights from the week, and I'm talking about the 3 count. So this week, all 3 of these highlights on the 3 count all took place off of television, pretty much. First one is EC3 putting out another teaser video on social media, this time kind of teasing that he could possibly be going to AEW. Now, he's already teased about Impact, he's teased about Ring of Honor, so he's keeping people guessing. And for me personally, if I could pick or tell him where I think he should go, I would say Impact, because that really is where he made his name, became a main eventer and things like that. And I think throwing him right back into the world title picture and Impact would be great, because they've lost a couple of their top superstars here recently, so he would definitely be a boost to that world title picture. Second on the 3 count, found out earlier this week that WWE has purchased the independent promotion Evolve, which this is something that's been rumored for quite a while, and Evolve has been kind of like almost like a farm territory for WWE for a long time. So I figure, it was just a matter of time before WWE outright purchased them. So now, we're kind of waiting to find out, well, what Evolve wrestlers is WWE going to keep, and which ones are going to kind of end up being free agents. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out going forward. And number 3 on the 3 count, we found out this week that Bully Ray's contract with Ring of Honor has expired. And I one of the articles I read said it had a little bit to do with the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdowns and everything. They just the two sides were not able to get together to negotiate a new contract, which could very well be the case. Or Bully could have just made the decision, hey, I want to test the water, see what else is out there, because Bully Ray, one of the best heels in wrestling for the last 2 decades at least, and So I would imagine he would have his pick of pretty much anywhere he wants to go. Now, again, if it was up to me for Bully Ray, I would send him to Impact, just because of the teases that have been going on with former world champion returning. Of course, that also encompasses EC3 and Eric Young and a number of other people. But more so than that, the teases about the Aces and Eights reforming. Now, Bully Ray, of course, was the president of the Aces and Eights in their original run, so I think having him come back in that role again would be great, and I think it would definitely put some more eyes on Impact. So we'll have to see where Bully Ray lands. So getting into the news and rumors for the week, starting off with Raw, we had the double contract signing with Asuka and Sasha Banks, as well as Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. And the show started off with a brawl between Sasha and Bayley and Asuka. Didn't have the typical Raw opening. It started off with just a huge brawl in the ring. And eventually, it's contract signing. It's going to break down into a fight. That's just what happens. But the contracts were signed, so those two matches are set for Extreme Rules coming up here in a couple of weeks. And interesting note on this one for the WWE title match between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Drew basically told Dolph that he could pick whatever stipulation he wanted for the match. So I'm curious to see what kind of a match we're going to see between McIntyre and Ziggler come Extreme Rules. Let's see. We also, some interesting absences from Raw were Randy Orton, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Austin Theory were not there. Now, this comes on the heels of, rumors about, positive tests for COVID-19. Some articles that I read said there were up to 30 people in WWE that tested positive. But again, it's rumor, it's speculation. Everybody's keeping pretty hush about this, except for, the ones that came out and just flat out said, yeah, I tested positive, like Renee Young and I think it was it Kayla Braxton and, one or two others. But other than that, I guess after those people came out and talked about testing positive for COVID-19, supposedly WWE put a gag order on their people to not talk about it. But, we saw Big Show make another appearance, basically calling out Randy Orton, who, as I just said, wasn't there. Andrade and Angel Garza came out. Ric Flair also came out, just kind of running their mouths. Andrade and Garza actually had a match then against the Viking Raiders where they defeated the Viking Raiders, and then we saw a backstage segment with them and Ric Flair, basically, pulling them to the side and talking to Andrade and Garza and Zelina Vega, and that ended up culminating in a handicap match where we saw a little bit of dissension between Andrade and Garza, which is nothing new, but a handicap match with the two of them versus the Big Show, and Garza walked out and left Andrade in the ring. So they're still teasing the two of them splitting up, but we'll have to see where that one goes. We saw R-Truth regain the 24/7 title for the what seems to be the 400th time or something like that. Had a tag team match with Rollins and Buddy Murphy defeating Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. This still, continuing the storyline with Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic, who were not in attendance, but did make an appearance via satellite or via Skype or whatever it was. We also saw Lana approaching Ruby Riott backstage during the show. It looks like Lana's trying to build herself a little bit of a stable of women wrestlers who are kind of not getting too much of the spotlight lately. Like Natalya was the first one, and now it looks like she's trying to add Ruby Riott. And now it'll be interesting to see if she tries to add Liv Morgan to that, because obviously with the history there, with Liv being interjected into the storyline with Lana and Lashley, we'll have to see. But so that's definitely something I'm curious. I'm going to be keeping an eye on, see what they're doing with Lana as far as building what seems to be her trying to build a little bit of a stable. Talking about Ruby Riott, she ended up having a match against Peyton Royce and was defeated. Ruby Riott has not won a match since she returned from her injury. So I'm not, that's horrible. I mean, Ruby Riott is a fantastic in-ring performer, and she's good. She's good all around. I like her promos. I like her, she's got a unique look that sets her out from the rest of the, most of the rest of the women in WWE. So, I'm hoping now, seeing her kind of being backstage with Liv Morgan and now with Lana, and the storyline with Lana and Natalya. Hopefully, Ruby Riot's going to be worked a little more into some more compelling stories here. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't mind seeing kind of a conflict between Lana and Natty and versus Ruby and Liv if they decide to put the two of them back together. So we'll see how that one turns out. MVP defeated Apollo Crews in a non-title match. Apollo is, of course, the United States champion. Lashley came out, attacked Apollo after the match. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet came out and made the save, which led to a match between Lashley and Ricochet. Lashley was victorious in that one. Looked like Lashley sustained an ear injury. Was bleeding from the side of his head or his ear. I'm not sure. He does have a cauliflower ear on his right side, so I don't know if that was if it was busted or what happened. But quite a bit of blood being spilled by Bobby Lashley, but it didn't look to be too serious. He finished the match and didn't seem to be too much the worse for wear. So I'm assuming he's fine. I haven't read anything about any serious injuries or anything like that. And then the main event, we saw a mixed tag team match: Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks taking on Drew McIntyre and Asuka. Dolph and Sasha were actually victorious in this one. Sasha got the pinfall on Asuka. And of course this leading up to the two title matches at Extreme Rules again. So they're really playing up the women's championship matches, and about Bayley and Sasha possibly having all of the women's titles, and I'm here for it. I like Bayley and Sasha as a team. I like them as a heel team. I liked them as a babyface team. So I'm definitely here for this one. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. On NXT, of course, I talked about a little while ago, was Great American Bash Night 1. Tegan Nox is the number one contender for the women's title. She won a fatal four-way elimination match. I talked about the Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan match. I'll say it again if you have not seen this one. If you're only going to watch one wrestling match this week, Thatcher and Lorcan, check it out. If you are a fan of just straight-up pure mat wrestling, you have to see this match. Rhea Ripley was victorious in a handicap match against Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Stipulation in that was if Rhea lost, she would have to join the Robert Stone brand. Don't think anybody really thought that was going to happen, but it was an entertaining match. Dexter Lumis defeated Roderick Strong in the first ever NXT strap match. That was a pretty good one. I mean, that was in contention for match of the week. We saw a backstage brawl after the women's fatal four-way between Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, and being broken up by Johnny Gargano and Isaiah Swerve Scott. So, Swerve and Gargano is a match I would love to see. So, hopefully that's leading somewhere. We saw Drake Maverick again getting attacked by Phantasma and his little crew, and this time Breezango came out to make the save. So it looks like Breezango are going to be the ones that have Maverick's back to even up the sides against Phantasma, Santos Escobar. Excuse me, he's not Phantasma anymore. Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. And we saw Cameron Grimes challenge the winner of the. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. We had I lost my place here. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, we had Cameron Grimes challenge the winner of the Keith Lee Adam Cole winner take all match for this coming week on night 2 of the Great American Bash. And then Io Shirai was actually victorious over Sasha Banks with a little bit of help from Asuka towards the end of the match. Asuka came out, sprayed the green mist in the face of Sasha Banks, kind of, and Sasha got a face full of it. I mean, by the time it was done, Sasha looked like the missing link, if you guys remember, if you guys get that reference. Very, very entertaining women's match, and definitely one to check out as well. Now, coming up on night 2 of the Great American Bash this coming Wednesday, there's only 3 matches announced so far, so I'm sure there's going to be some more. I don't see these 3 taking up the whole 2-hour time slot, but Yeah, we've got the six-man tag match between Breezango and Drake Maverick taking on Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. I'm actually picking Escobar, Wilde, and Mendoza to win this one. Then we've got a street fight, which is coming on the heels of the backstage brawl between Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. I'm picking Mia Yim. I'm looking at Mia Yim to be the next NXT Women's Champion. I know Tegan Knox is a number one contender right now. I don't really see her defeating Io Shirai for the title, but Mia Yim is my pick in the street fight against Candice LeRae. And then the main event is winner take all match for the North American and NXT championships. Keith Lee, the North American champion, taking out Adam Cole, the NXT champion. Now, there was a spoiler for this match posted online earlier this week because the show has already been taped. I'm not going to reveal what that spoiler was, but guys, if something is out there like that, just don't share it. Not everybody wants to see that stuff. I mean, come on, seriously. Some of us still like to be a little surprised, even if it is a taped show. And but yeah, somebody did post a picture of the post-match festivities, so to speak, but then it was noted later on that they filmed a couple of different endings for this match, so who knows if the spoiler that was put out there is even accurate. There's even what we're going to see on television. So either way, Cole versus Keith Lee I think is going to be a fantastic match. That's definitely an early contender for match of the week, but my pick in this one, I'm going to go with Adam Cole. I don't think Adam Cole is going to lose the championship just yet, especially with them just kind of now starting to hint at a rivalry with Karrion Kross. So, and that's a match I would really like to see, is Kross versus Cole. Moving into SmackDown, not a whole lot of stuff going on SmackDown this week, unless I just wasn't paying attention too much, but not a lot of big storyline advancements or anything like that. But we did see Matt Riddle defeat John Morrison at the beginning of the show in a match put together by King Corbin. Now, the rivalry that's supposed to be going on is Riddle versus Corbin. Corbin's basically saying Riddle hasn't earned a match with the King just yet. So, Corbin playing the cowardly heel, which he does beautifully. And but yeah, Riddle picks up a big victory over John Morrison. Then we saw AJ Styles defend the Intercontinental title against Drew Gulak. Another great match this week. Styles was victorious, retained the title. And then Shinsuke Nakamura picked up a victory over Kofi Kingston. Now, Nakamura and Cesaro been getting a little bit of a push in the tag team division, which I'm good with. I like Nakamura and Cesaro as singles acts. I really, really do. But Cesaro keeps getting thrust into tag teams, and Nakamura, I don't know. I like them both as singles guys, but I like them as a tag team. Obviously, they're both fantastic wrestlers. So, but anyway, Nakamura did pick up a victory over Kofi, which leads to Nakamura and Cesaro getting a tag team title match this coming week on SmackDown. So I'm here for that one. That should be a great match. Nakamura and Cesaro versus the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Big E. I don't know. This one's kind of a toss-up for me. I don't know if they're going to take the titles off of the New Day yet, but I would love to see Nakamura and Cesaro get a title run. I would like to see them get an actual run, not win the titles on Thursday and then lose them, or on Friday, and then lose them back to the New Day at Extreme Rules or something. I'd like to see them have a good championship run. And then at the end of SmackDown, in the main event slot, we had Sheamus giving a toast to Jeff Hardy. Again, continuing with the storyline of Sheamus just using Jeff Hardy's past and his demons against him. I've said before, not my favorite storyline. We saw Jeff Hardy kind of lay out the bartender that Sheamus had sent to the ring. Sheamus was on the big screen. He wasn't actually in the arena. So I'm sure all this is leading to another match between Hardy and Sheamus, probably at Extreme Rules. It'll probably have some type of crazy stipulation like a barroom brawl or something. Who knows? But I'm sure it's leading to another match with these guys. And some miscellaneous news. There's rumor going around that Kairi Sane is possibly done in WWE and will be going back to Japan. Now, a couple of different things that I read here. One was that Kairi was going to be going back to Japan as kind of an ambassador for WWE, because there had been plans for an NXT Japan, which I don't know how smart that is, because there is so much competition in Japan, with New Japan especially. That would be WWE's primary competition over there. So I don't know how smart it is to try and start up an NXT division in Japan. Well, obviously not right now with everything going on, but I just don't know if it's a good idea. But that was one rumor, that Kairi was going to be kind of a WWE ambassador for Japan. And another rumor was that she was basically done with WWE. Her contract was done. She was going to go back to Japan, wrestle one more year, and retire from pro wrestling. So we'll have to see, because from what I know, she is slated to be at the next set of TV tapings. So now another rumor was that there was supposed to be a career match, basically like a loser leaves town match, with Kairi, and I'm not sure who the opponent was supposed to be, but that was gonna kind of be her out to write her off of television. So we'll have to see what's going on with Kairi Sane. I can definitely say I would not be happy to see her go. She is, one of my favorites in the women's division, honestly. But obviously she's going to do what's best for her. She was just recently married. She's going to do what's best for her family. And if that means, her going back to Japan for one reason or another, then, more power to her. And I hope, that's the best thing for her. Moving into some AEW news, we had night one of Fyter Fest right up against night one of the Great American Bash. And something interesting to note, if you looked in the crowd, Brian Pillman Jr. was among the wrestlers in the crowd at ringside. And there was a picture released online of Pillman backstage in full wrestling gear. So I don't know if he wrestled a dark match, or I don't know if they've taped night two of Fyter Fest already, if they just taped both shows that night and he, made some kind of surprise appearance or what. But looks like Brian Pillman may be doing some work for AEW, which I am here for it. Brian Pillman, one of my favorite independent guys, probably my absolute favorite in MLW right now. So seeing him on a little bit bigger stage on AEW would be awesome. But getting into the matches for night one, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus actually defeated MJF and Wardlow. Saw a little bit of dissension in the ranks there between MJF and Wardlow, kind of teasing some stuff going on there. Now, I'd have no problem seeing Wardlow just kind of go nuts on MJF and just toss him around like a rag doll. I think that'd be great. It'd be great for Wardlow too. It would get him over instantly as a babyface, because everybody hates MJF. Let's be honest. And we saw Hikaru Shida successfully defend the AEW Women's Championship against Penelope Ford. Cody Rhodes retained the TNT Championship against Jake Hager. Cody came out with a new T-shirt. It said just said the American Nightmare Cody, but the lettering, the font style, the logo was reminiscent, let's say, of the old Great American Bash logo. And of course, the Great American Bash was a creation of Dusty Rhodes during the NWA Jim Crockett days. But of course, that trademark now is owned by Vince McMahon and the WWE, so it's not something that Cody could ever make use of. But I thought it was a cool little jab. A lot of people don't like the little jabs back and forth between WWE and AEW. I think it's great. I find them entertaining. I think it's fun. I think a lot of it is just tongue in cheek, and it just people go around saying, "Oh, they're so petty and this and that," and just enjoy it, guys. Seriously, stop taking it so seriously, and just have fun. But yeah, during the match with Hager, we saw interference from Hager's wife and Arn Anderson and Dustin, and it was a really good match. This was actually my second choice for match of the week, because it just had a lot of like old school type elements with the referee distraction and the interference and things like that. I'm sure that we would have seen some type of interference from Brandy Rhodes. Unfortunately, she wasn't at the taping because one of their dogs passed away. I believe it was the one named Colby Jack, one of their cheese boys. If you follow them on social media, Cody and Brandy post all kinds of stuff about their dogs, and I mean, condolences to Brandy and to Cody. I know what it's like losing a pet. It's horrible. It's heart-wrenching, and so obviously, I mean, if you're a pet parent, they're family. So yeah, you're gonna miss work if something happens. So yeah, definitely condolences to Brandy and Cody for that. But yeah, the ending to this match was pretty cool. We saw Hager get Cody in the arm triangle that he uses for a submission, and Cody was able to turn it into a pin and got the 3 count basically while he was unconscious, or at least looked like he was unconscious. And Hager, not happy with the decision, knocked out the referee, punched him dead in the jaw and knocked him out. Storyline, obviously. But, and AEW made an announcement later on that he was suspended for 10 days and was fined, I forget how many thousands of dollars for assaulting a referee. Then we saw Private Party pick up a victory over Santana and Ortiz in a very good tag team match. And we also found out that the world title match between Cage and Jon Moxley has been moved to the Fight for the Fallen event, which is going to take place on July 15th. Now, this, I think, is just done out of an overabundance of caution. Of course, Renee Young, Jon Moxley's wife, one of the WWE employees who tested positive for COVID-19. Moxley has not tested positive. They've been doing everything they're supposed to be doing as far as being quarantined from everybody, including each other. So, as far as anybody knows, Moxley is still healthy and, has not tested positive. All of his tests have been negative. But I think just out of an overabundance of caution, they've moved Moxley versus Cage to July 15th, which will be their Fight for the Fallen event, which again will be free on TNT. So that's a pretty cool move on the part of AEW. And then on the main event of night 1 of Fyter Fest, we saw Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defeat the Best Friends to retain the World Tag Team Championship. And pretty cool spot at the beginning of this match. The Best Friends were dropped off at the event in a minivan by Trent's mom. Just a really cool, funny, entertaining little spot. And of course, people talking trash about it online, but so many people take wrestling way too seriously and refuse to have any kind of fun with it. And, if that's the case, then yeah, AEW is probably not for you, because these guys like to have fun. They like, obviously they're not for hardcore, serious WWE/wrestling fans, although AEW puts on some of the best wrestling matches that you're going to want to see. So, but if you're one, if you just enjoy fun wrestling, AEW is definitely something you should check out if you haven't already. So getting into night 2 of Fyter Fest coming up this week, looks to be another really good card. We're going to have another tag team championship match with Omega and Page defending against Private Party after Private Party defeated Santana and Ortiz this past week. I'm picking Private Party to win this one. I think they have proved how good they are. They're so over with the fans that it's ridiculous. And AEW just has an amazing tag team division, and I think I've said it before, I think it's time to pull the trigger on Hangman Page kind of turning on Kenny Omega. So that's what I'm looking for here, because we saw FTR kind of enter the ring after the tag team title match. They offered a beer to Hangman Page, and of course he took it. They also gave one to Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, I think most people know, doesn't drink, so he kind of poured the beer out, which didn't sit well with FTR and didn't sit well with Hangman Page either. So I think we're getting close to seeing the breakup of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. We've got another tag team match coming up, an 8-man tag team match with FTR teaming with the Young Bucks. That should be interesting, to take on the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. This one definitely has match of the week potential, because you've got on both sides 2 teams that are just polar opposites. I mean, FTR obviously, all about wrestling, and the Young Bucks are a lot of people call them spot monkeys and things like that, because they do the flips and the super kicks and things like that. And on the other side, kind of the same thing. Butcher and the Blade, more mat-based guys teaming up with the Lucha Brothers, who do some amazing high-flying stuff. So it should be a very, very good 8-person tag team match here. Then we've got a 6-man tag team match. This card is heavy on tag teams. The Dark Order, which in this case consists of Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana, taking on all 3 members of SoCal Uncensored: Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. I'm actually going to pick the Dark Order in this one. I don't know if this is where we're going to see Colt Cabana become a full-fledged member of the Dark Order, or if they're going to spread this one out a little bit more, but I'm picking the Dark Order over SCU. Oh, and for that 8-man match, I am picking FTR and the Bucks to pick up the win over the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me either way with who wins that particular match. Then we've got Nyla Rose taking on an opponent to be announced. Kind of interesting. With Tessa Blanchard no longer a part of Impact, could Tessa pop up on AEW? I mean, it is where her dad currently works, so wouldn't surprise me. I think AEW would be the best place for Tessa. As much as I would love to see Tessa Blanchard versus Charlotte Flair in WWE, AEW is still very much building their women's division, and I think Tessa would be that one kind of breakout star that they need at the top of that division. So I would love to see Tessa show up on AEW. Then we've got Lance Archer taking on Joey Janela. This just seems like a mismatch, but pretty much anybody against Lance Archer seems like a mismatch. But I'm definitely picking Lance Archer in this one. And then what I'm assuming will probably be the main event is Chris Jericho taking on Orange Cassidy. Now this one's been building for quite a while. I'm going to pick Jericho to win this one, but, in the same vein as Jericho versus Darby Allin a few months ago, this is a match that could just cause Orange Cassidy to just skyrocket. I mean, he's already one of the more popular guys on the roster, but this could just do so much good for Orange Cassidy to have a good showing in this match, and got more so even if he wins. But I am picking Chris Jericho to defeat Orange Cassidy. We've got a little New Japan news. The New Japan Cup final has been set. It is Okada versus Evil, and the winner will take on Naito for the heavyweight and intercontinental championships at division. Now the New Japan final is coming up July 11th, so keep an eye out for that one. And then Dominion taking place July 12th. So I'll be talking about both of those things next week. Moving into some Impact news, found out at Slammiversary there's going to be a number 1 contender women's gauntlet match. Basically, it looks to be with all of the women on the roster. So Taya and Rosemary and Susie and Kylie Ray, and wouldn't surprise me to see Susie and Sue Young make appearances in this. Should be a good match. There's also a rumor floating around this week that Gallows and Anderson have signed with Impact, which would be huge. That would be a huge pickup for Impact for their tag team division if they were to get Gallows and Anderson. Could they be part of the Aces and Eights as well? I mean, Luke Gallows was a member of the original Aces and Eights with Bully Ray, so it just seems natural to possibly have both of them as part of this re-emergence of Aces and Eights. We also found out, since Tessa Blanchard and Michael Elgin are both effectively gone from Impact, the world title match at Slammiversary will now be a 4-way match with Eddie Edwards, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, and a mystery opponent. Now, they've already been teasing that a former world champion will be returning to Impact. At least one former world champion will be returning to Impact at Slammiversary. So this mystery opponent could be EC3, it could be Bully Ray. We saw a teaser for Eric Young this week, or his Super Eric persona. We saw the cape and the mask and stuff. It could be Eric Young in that match. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities for that fourth opponent. Kind of an interesting match coming up this next week, I think it's at Slammiversary, I'm sorry, for Impact. Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock are taking on the North for the World Tag Team titles. This, after a confrontation in the ring between Shamrock and the North, and Callihan popped up to help Shamrock. Kind of an odd pairing, especially considering they had been rivals not too long ago. So I'm curious to see how Shamrock and Callahan will work as a tag team. And then we saw Moose defend, quote unquote, the TNA TNA World Title again. I'm up in the air about this. I mean, the storyline basically is that Moose just kind of brought out the TNA World Championship belt and declared himself the TNA champion, not the Impact champion, the TNA champion. He's got the old belt and has been defending it, quote unquote, every week. And this week we saw Tommy Dreamer come out after the match and Moose attack Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer cut a great promo on Moose right after that. Again, that's another thing. If you haven't seen it, go back and check out Tommy Dreamer's promo. It's posted on Impact's Facebook page, and I mean, just a phenomenal promo by Tommy Dreamer. But yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about. I mean, I understand why Impact did it. Their world champion Tessa Blanchard was not on TV for a number of months, and they needed somebody in some type of top spot there. And Moose filled the role great. I don't know how I feel about them just kind of pulling out the TNA heavyweight title out of nowhere. But hey, it makes for good television so far, so it's not definitely not a bad thing. So that's going to do it for news and rumors for the week. Right now, I am going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey, the wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with your Indie Cut. There was quite a bit of wrestling action this week, so let's begin with a very busy June 27, 2020, with 01 USA from Noble, Illinois. In a four-way match, it was Joey O'Reilly defeating Benjamin Carter, the Cobra, and Jake St. Patrick. In a toy box of fun match, it was Dan Liplock defeating Anakin Murphy. In the 01 USA Women's Title match, it was Reign Victoria champion defeating Sky Blue, and Gary J defeated Steve Manders. We move to TWE Chattanooga in Tennessee with an attendance of 75. They had a TWE tag team title match of the Youngbloods, consisting of Octavius Black and Spoonie Mack, who are champions, defeating Cole Radrick and Sage Phillips. And in the TWE title match, champion Brett Eisen defeated Bailey Blake. We head to St. Louis Anarchy and Journey Pro, 60 minutes and change, free on YouTube. It was a non-title 60-minute Iron Man match with Freddie Ahai defeating Jeremy Wyatt, 4 out of 3 falls. Then we went to Cape Championship Wrestling, Homecoming 5 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. In a 6-man match, it was Derek King with Hollis Giroux and Otis Crowley defeating Blake Christian, Case Borden, and Jackson Crowley. In the main event, it was Logan Stunt and Marco Stunt defeating JJ Walker and Melanie Cruz. So it looked like some AEW talent was there. We go to I Believe in Wrestling, Believe 203 from Winter Park, Florida. Oh boy, Florida. Hopefully everyone was safe there. And an SCW Florida Cruiserweight title match. Champion Amber Nova defeated Brian Atomic. And in the AWA Florida Tag Team title match, Blake Banks and Daniel Lacey defeated champions Josh Dawkins and Kwame Nash to become new champions. Then we finally go up to ICW No Holds Barred Volume 2, Deathmatch Drive-In from Atlantic City, New Jersey, which looked like the Motel 8 parking lot and someone's backyard, because someone was on a rooftop taking photos. It was kind of cool. The show even had fire pyro for the entrances. which was very close to a few of the wrestlers at the time, so that was an interesting entrance. Cars did circle the ring, but without their lights on. Joey Janela was on commentary for the brief time I listened in, since the stream was so messed up. First match was Nick Gage defeating Casanova Valentine, in a very bloody match, of course. Dominic Guarini defeating Tony Deppen in one of the few matches without blood. A very good match, I might say. Reed Bentley defeating Akira. Matt Tremont defeated Brandon Kirk. Alex Clone defeated Eric Ryan. And John Wayne Murdoch defeated Schlack. I'm not giving details of most of those matches, sorry. And then we go to Wrestle Club Biohazard number 5 from Caldwell, Idaho. Sorry about that. Horror Slam and Ruthless Pro Wrestling, Undisputed, Undeniable, Undisclosed Location 4 in Michigan. Body Progression Wrestling from Tulsa, Oklahoma, also had a show. All-Star Pro from Bethany, Oklahoma. All had shows on stage, which is hopeful for the indie scene. But with new cases of the pandemic coming across, who knows how that will keep going on. Now we finally head over to Japan. Dragon Gate Rainbow Gate 2020 Day 5 with Team Dragon Gate of Jason Lee and Kazuki Okuda defeated HYO and Kaito Yoshida. In another match, it was Team Dragon Gate with KZY, Strong Machine J, and Yamato defeated Genki Hiraguchi, Ryo Sato, and Ultimo Dragon. Yes, Ultimo Dragon's the wrestling, folks. Then to DDT TV show number 8 with an attendance of 155. Akito and Dansuko Dino defeated Kazuki Hirata and Toru Awashi in the KO'd tag team title match. Champions Naomi Yoshimura and Yuki Uno defeated Nobuhiro Shimatana and Tatsuya Endo. In the DDT Universal title match, Chris Brooks defeated champion Daisuke Sasaki to become new champion. Congrats to Chris. Then there was a 666 Chaos Undecided Freedom title match. The main event was... Oh, sorry about that. Then there was a 666 Volume 97 Unreal 25th Debut Anniversary Memorial. Taro Yamada and Yanagawa defeated Hellbros Ken and Hellbros Ryu. Oh, then in the main event was 666 Chaos Undecided Freedom title match of Enro. I guess he's not dead yet, I guess. Defeated Yuko Miyamoto to become new champion. I'll tell you, that was a busy day, folks. Now we go to June 28th. Pro Wrestling Wave, Sunday Volume 38 with an attendance of 125. Oko Etsuki and Yu defeated Nagase Nozaki and Yuki Miyazaki. And the main event was Tsukasa Fujimoto defeating Hiroi. I guess I'm pronouncing those right, finally. We head over to Pure J Fight Together Volume 2 with an attendance of 120. Kazuo Kobayashi defeated Akira. And Suzy Suzuki defeated Kuri. Then in the Daily Sports Tag Team title match, champions Mikado and Moyoki Haruhai defeated Manami Katsu and Mari Manji. And the Nice Pro TV Hideki Suzuki Produce Wrestling in Japan freelance shows, Alejandro defeated Tatsuya Hanami. Al Lindemann defeated Koji Takegi. Daisuke Kanehara defeated Tasatsugi Takasato. Aito Yoshida and Fumuro Abe went to a time limit draw. Then we went to Katano Milky Way Pro Wrestling number 1, another freelance show. Billy Ken Kidd and Kohei Kinashita defeated Izzy Onozuka and Tsubasa. Next match was Kozakai Miyahara defeated Rino Yamashita. Then over to World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana, live on YouTube, so you can look this one up. Tsukishi defeated Haruko Yamasaki. Kane Fujita defeated Madeline. Oeke Sato teamed with Kawasaki Rainbow Girl, defeating Karo Ito and Nanami. In a three-way match, Jaguar Yokata defeated Cherry and Yumiko Hoda. And on the 28th, there was no freelance, and Rise Wrestling presents Pride and Joy. Not sure why there's still tickets available, but hopefully they will hold the show down the road. Or probably next year, at the rate things are going. Then to June 30th, 2020, All Japan Pro Wrestling Broadcast 2020, number 8, the Triple Crown of Wilderness. Purple Haze of Utamaro and Zeus defeated Black Menso Ri and Takayo Amori. In the tag match of Shigo Takibana and Yoshitatsu defeated Tajiri and Yuma Yagai. So you got Yoshitatsu and Tajiri wrestling. Very nice. In the six-man tag, Akira Francesco teamed with Yuro Kuroshio and Kento Miyahara, defeating Hikaru Saito and Yusaki Okada. Yeah, I'm missing a man. Oh, and I guess Evolution was the other man. Sorry about that. My sources are letting me down here. In the All Japan World Junior Heavyweight Title number 1 contender match, Koji Yamamoto defeated Usaki Kodama. Then there was Jake Lee defeating Kuma Arashi. And in the Triple Crown title match, Suwama champion defeated Satoru Oshino. Then to July 1st, New Japan Cup Day 6. Over to DDT Dramatic Dream Shirumo Volume 2 with an attendance of 125. Soma Takai defeated Hideki Okatani. In a 6-man tag, Kosusada Uguchi, Saki Aki, and Yukio Sakaguchi defeated Harita, Toru Owashi, and Tomomitsuyo Matsugana. In a tag team lumberjack match, which had to be fun, Sanshiro Takagi and Yukiro Naya defeated Akito and Kaigo Nakamura. In a 4-way match, Yuki Ino defeated Antonio Honda, Chris Brooks, and Dansiko Dino. In another 6-man tag match, it was Hiroshima, Naomi Yoshimura, and Yuki Ueno defeated Daisuke Sasaki, Mad Polly, and Nobuhiro Shimatai. At Wave Nami 1, Pro Wrestling Wave, attendance 72. Yui defeated Sakura Hirito and Yuki Miyazaki. Miyuko Takashi defeated Hiroi. Hiroko Umosaki and Susie Suzuki defeated Yumi Hayashi and Kuri. Then in the main event, it was Sakura Hirito and Yuki Miyazaki defeated Hiroi and Nagashi Nozaki. Then there was an All Japan Wednesday special, our 7-minute battle. This is a 7-minute match between Akira, Francesco, and Tajiri. It went to a time limit draw. July 2nd was New Japan Cup Day 7. July 3rd was the New Japan Cup Day 8, along with DDT Diamasho 2020 with an attendance of 156. In a 4-way tag, it was Toru Owashi and Yukara Naya defeating Shunma Katsumata and Yuki Uno, Atsuko Dino and Kazaki Harita, and Keiji Nakamura with Tomomitsu Matsunaga. That was a 4-second match, folks. So turn around to an 8-man tag of Atsuko Dino, Kazuki Harita, Tomomitsu Masugana, and Toru Owashi teaming up to defeat Shunma Katsumata, Yuki Ino, Keigo Nakamura, and Yukio Naya. And that at least went 5 minutes, 18 seconds, so they got at least some money's worth there. In another tag match, it was Daisuke Sasaki and Soma Takaya defeating Antonio Honda and Hiroshima. Chris Brooks defeated Maku Danarayuto. That's a new name for me. Jun Akiyama and Makedo Aishi defeated Akito and Kansuki Takashita. Naomi Yoshimura and Yuki Yuno defeated Mad Polly and Tatsuya Endo. Then in the main event, it was the Saki Aki Parisho 7-match series, match number 7. I don't know what happened to 1 through 6. I must have missed those. Miko Satomura defeated Saki Aki. Finally, to July 4th, which is today. Yay! Dragon Gate, Hopeful Gate 2020, Day 1. A lot of tag matches in this one. Dragon Gate Generation, team of Strong Machine J, Ben K, and KZY defeated Turoman Generation of Ultimo Dragon, Dragon Kid, and Ryo Saito. That would have been nice to see. Then RED of BXB, Hulk, and Diamante defeated Dragon Gate Generation, Dragon Dia, and Punch Tamanaga. Then Big R Smoozy went against Kota Miyamura in a 15-minute draw. Dragon Gate Generation of Yamato and Kai defeated Mosaki Mochizuki and Susumi Yokoshika. I'll get there, folks. Don't worry about that. Then RED of Kaito Yoshida and Kazuma Sakamoto defeated Dragon Gate Generation of Kaisuke Okuda and Jason Lee. In the main event, it was a 6-man tag of Naruki Daio, Sujei Kondo, and Masato Yoshino defeating RED of Takashi Yoshida, HYO, and Ida. At Total Triumph Team Scramble 5 with an attendance of 100. Taishiro Kiruda defeated Riki Fuji. And then the Strong Hearts of L. Lindemann and T-Hawk defeated Akiro Tokuzawa and Fuminari Abe. And the main event was Guts Ishijima defeating Sansuke Sayama. Then to Nice Pro TV Mikado Produce, Wrestling in Japan freelance shows. Cherry defeated Momo Tane. Saki defeated Kanasu. Te Hanma defeating Sei. Then it was Kuro Yonoyama versus Mayoka Matsumoto versus Natsusumi to a 50-minute draw. And in the main event, this one was interesting. Hanako Nakamura, Riho, she's still wrestling, folks, but over in Japan. And Siri defeating Asuka, different Asuka, Keiho Kobayashi, and Mikado. Yeah, it had to be a cool main event. Over to Ice Ribbon, new Ice Ribbon 1049 with an attendance of 50. No real matches to talk about, so we go over to my favorite of Tokiyoshi Pro, Stand Proud, with an attendance of 192, so we're letting a few more people in. Hikiro Onoi and Senya Shiro, I butchered that, defeated Mahiro Kuru and Pam Hirajuku. Mayu Yamashita defeated Haruno Niko. The Magical Sugar Rabbits of Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki defeated Nodeko Tenma and Yuna Minazi. Natsumi Maki defeated Suzumi. Hyper Michio and Shoko Nakajima defeated Mina Shirakawa and Maria Miyumo. In the Princess title #1 contendership match, Yuki Ono defeated Yuki Kamafuki. And in the Princess tag team title match, champions Miyo Watanabe and Rike Tatsumi defeated Maki Ito and Raku. Darn. Alright, and then finally for the end report, later today on the 4th, there will be an afternoon show, GCW Backyard Wrestling 2. Their now annual tribute to the Backyards. Stars of today under their old Backyard names, and Backyarders past converge on somebody's backyard to indulge in some downright unwise hardcore grappling. That should be fun to watch. And then ICW New York No Holds Barred Volume 3 Deathmatch Drive-In 2 is later tonight in a different location than last week due to regulations. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how much I'll enjoy it, but I'll try. Okay, and now it's time for the 2B Throwback Machine with Lucha Underground episode 13 called Johnny Mundo versus the Machine from February 4th, 2015. Wonder where this will lead, huh? One of the top fights stands in the way of Cage becoming the #1 contender. A surprise guest walks into the temple. First match was Angelico against Son of Havoc with Evilise in his corner. Before the match begins, Evilise cuts a promo to anyone who was against her or her man. This was a solid match with Angelico showing off how skilled he really is. It came down to some miscommunication between Havoc and Evilise, who was standing on the ring apron, as Havoc missed a spear, hitting Evilise, allowing Angelico to roll up Havoc for the win. Then we head to Dario Cueto's office, where we see Cueto talking to none other than Johnny Mundo, saying if he wants to see action, it will be against Cage tonight. Second match was Pentagon Jr. defeating Famous B. Before the match begins, we see a video learning more about Pentagon Jr. This was pretty much a squash match for Pentagon, landing a package pile driver, leading to a standing Kimura arm lock for the win. Then soon after was the first of the snap arm breaker, which always looks nasty and still does, even though he doesn't do it much anymore. Then Pentagon cut a promo saying he is loyal to his master and is ready because he has no fear. After a break, we see Dario in a dark room talking to someone that cannot share his joy, but says that the woman named Black Lotus, so that's the mystery woman's name, came looking for him last week. Cueto knows he has to protect his temple from Matanza. So was he talking to Matanza or someone different? Only time will tell. Third match was Drago versus Aerostar in a first of best of 5 series. This match was action-packed in and out of the ring. Back and forth, no one really was dominant here. Drago hit a blockbuster DDT for the win in a quick move. Both shook hands at the end, showing respect for each other. Since there will be presumably 4 more matches, I'd hope so. After a break, we see Phoenix working out, and Katrina sneaking in to talk and wonder about him. She has a message for Phoenix from her, which a secret kiss that only can mean trouble for Phoenix, I'm sure. Then in the main event, it was Cage versus Johnny Mundo. Cage came in wearing the broken Lucha Underground title around his neck. It's kind of like a towel. During the match, King Cuerno came out to watch the match from a ladder within the temple. One can only wonder who he is after. This was a great match between the two. Cage even tried a jump up moonsault from the turnbuckle unsuccessfully, but great agility nonetheless. After Mundo hit a high flying corkscrew over the corner to Cage on the floor, Cuerno came to ringside and attacked Mundo. So now we know why he was there. And what should have been a DQ win for Mundo, Darrow came out declaring to restart the match since they are now friends again, and he doesn't want Mundo's 5-star matches to end like that. A now injured Mundo has to take on a now meaner Cage. Somehow the match got even better in these final minutes. Mundo fought strong and hard, but was no match for Cage, who hit a discus clothesline and a gory special for the win. Before the show ends, we see Dario on the phone talking a Black Lotus until a knock on the door, which was none other than Alberto El Patron. I'll leave it at that. So another great show with a lot of new stories to be told down the road. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. So that's a wrap for me until next week, where I will recap the GCW Backyard and ICW shows and any other indie news or shows that come about. Don't forget to look at those Twitch streams. You might hear me on one, I'm not sure yet, and YouTube channels for other wrestling content. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Stay extra safe this holiday weekend. Take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tom.
So that is your Indie Cut with Charlie G. Thank you, as always, for all the contributions to the show, Charlie. And we're going to roll right along into our next segment of the show, highlighting somebody who sheds a good light on wrestling fans on social media, and I am talking about the Fan of the Week. This week's Fan of the Week is my friend from Twitter. Her name is Becky. She goes by Becky Kathleen on social media. Her Twitter handle is @DoItWithFlareon, Flareon. She's a huge Charlotte Flair fan. She's also a blogger. She writes an amazing wrestling blog. This girl seriously knows her stuff when it comes to pro wrestling. You can find her blog at thepipebombshell.com. And yeah, she just a great follow, very good writer. You know, check out some of her blogs. She, the latest one she did was about Woman, Nancy Benoit, and I actually just got a chance to check it out today. You know, she does her research. She's very good at what she does. I don't know any other way to put it, quite honestly. So, yeah, if you get the chance, definitely check her out. Give her a follow on Twitter. She's an awesome follow, but I will give you one piece of advice. Do not get on her bad side, because she does not think twice to take down a troll on Twitter, and that is one of the things that I like about her. She speaks her mind. She doesn't hold anything back, and she's not afraid to tell somebody off if they're just being a dick. but definitely a positive force online. Like I said, check out her blog, check out her Twitter, and give her a follow. She is an awesome person, and if you get the opportunity to interact with her, she just I can't say I know her like super well, but I do consider her an online friend, and she's a lot of fun to follow and to kind of banter back and forth with. So that's at Do It With Flareon on Twitter. So give her a follow. So moving on to the next segment of the show, where I get to have a little bit of fun and play armchair booker here. I am talking about the Fantasy Booker. My fantasy booker this week is a women's match between two women wrestlers who have drawn so many comparisons to each other, and honestly, I hate that part, but I think the two of them would put on a fantastic match, and I'm talking about Bayley and Kylie Rae. Kylie Rae, probably my absolute favorite independent women's wrestler right now. I say independent, but she is signed to Impact, but it's honestly a toss-up between Kylie Rae and Jordynne Grace for me as to who my favorite women's wrestler is right now. But Bayley versus Kylie, because there are obviously similarities between the two, especially Bayley's babyface character, the hugger and everything. And so you've got Hugger Bayley and Smiley Kylie. But, you look past that, they're both fantastic in-ring performers. And I think given the following that both of them have, it would be an amazing match. And I think the crowd would really get into it. So that's my fantasy booker for this week. Bayley versus Kylie Rae, I think, would be an awesome match, and I would, hopefully, they're both still very young, so there is a strong potential that we could see this match for real one day, so I really hope that we do. So, moving into the final segment of the show here, where I talk about maybe a not-so-popular opinion, and that is the weekly hot take. So this week's hot take: where the hell are Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair? Shayna Baszler, we have not seen too much of since Money in the Bank, really, since Becky Lynch announced that she was having a baby and took a bit of a hiatus from WWE. We had a couple of instances of Shayna talking some trash about Becky taking time off to become a mother, and it looked like they were gonna still continue that rivalry, and then it just kind of stopped. And rumors are that Vince doesn't have the confidence in Shayna Baszler as a top heel in the women's division, which to me is completely ludicrous. I think she is exactly what you need as a top heel in the women's division. She is a legit badass, a straight up fighter. She's got the credentials to back it up, and I think she's good on the microphone. Does she cut a perfect promo? No, but I think promo-wise, she has been leaps and bounds ahead of where Ronda Rousey was when she first entered WWE, and the year that she spent there. And I like Shayna Baszler, and it bugs me that she's not on TV. Same thing with Bianca Belair. I've never been a huge fan of Bianca Belair's TV persona, but you cannot deny what this woman can do in the ring. And again, she, was brought up to the main roster around WrestleMania time, made a couple appearances with the Street Profits, and that's it. Haven't seen hide nor hair from her since then. And, I don't understand why. You've got a 3-hour show every week, and there's plenty of time and plenty of room to work some of these people in there that should be in some of these spots. But even if Bianca is just coming out with her husband with the Street Profits for the time being, or at least put her in a match so you're not having Natty versus Liv Morgan every week. Nothing against Natty or Liv Morgan, I love them both, but we've seen that match each of the last couple of weeks, some variation of Natty and Liv Morgan. Throw Bianca in there, throw Shayna in there. Shayna and Natty could have a good storyline. Just the wrestling that the two of them can do. Plus, there's a backstory there. They train together, so I mean, come on. But yeah, so that's my hot take. Get Bianca and Shayna and some of the other people, especially the women who have not been on TV in so long. Get them on television. Where the hell's Naomi? Haven't seen Naomi in who knows when. I mean, give me a break. Get some of these people on TV if they're able to be on TV. I don't know if any of this has anything to do with travel restrictions, but as far as I know, they all live in Florida. So, there's no reason they can't be at the Performance Center unless they're some of the ones that tested positive. But, they haven't been on TV since before that. So, who knows? But, yeah, I'm just, I think a lot of fans are a little bit frustrated that we are, seeing a very limited number of people on TV right now, which in some ways is understandable. You don't want to have too many people at these tapings. I'm sure there's, local restrictions on how many people you can have in the building at one time and things like that. So, but yeah, hopefully when stuff starts loosening up and opening back up, we see some more of Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair and Naomi and some of the other faces that, we haven't been seeing on television for so long and really don't know why. So that is going to do it for this week with Catch, Hook, and Shoot. And I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media at Catch, Hook, Shoot. It's catchhookshoot@gmail.com if you ever want to shoot me an email with any questions, comments, or anything like that. Patreon.com/catchhookshoot, which, like I said, is still under construction. Bear with me. And ProWrestlingTees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirt needs. And once again, I hope all of my U.S. listeners had a great and healthy and safe and happy 4th of July. And hope everybody else is enjoying the summer, enjoying their weekend, and yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna wrap everything up. I hope everybody has a great week coming up. Enjoy all the good wrestling that I think we're gonna be seeing this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.